All right. Today is Tuesday, April 6th, 2021, 12:01. And I'm going to let's talk some psychology, right? Let's just talk psychology. So, we're not supposed to let fear and greed come into any of our decision processes, right? We're mechanical creatures. We've set up our trading strategy. We believe in our strategy. Our strategy is going great. Life is good. Hey, Ken. Hey, Rick. Hey, Dwayne. Matt Jollywally's on the road. He had to go to a funeral yesterday, so he's still spending time with family. So he won't be joining us live today. So we see the market here. I mean, it just continually goes up. It does what it does. And then we read a book about how to make $1 million in the stock market. Oh my gosh. I hear my kids screaming and crying. So we read a book about that, and then we start working on a spreadsheet to tell us how to trade that. And then we find a few ultra, good. Beth, can you get her out here, please? Oh, I'm gonna squall in front of all y'all. So where was I? So we come up with a little spreadsheet, right? And a little spreadsheet that we're doing something that some old boy come up with in the 70s, and now we're looking at this on a daily basis, a real-time basis. We got our first trigger yesterday to sell one share of TQQQ, right? So we started with 23 shares, and then we got 22 shares. And I'll catch myself watching this since we got the trigger yesterday. I'm like, how close are we to getting another trigger, man, so I can, do this? And then here's the crazy thing about this account, and y'all know I always keep it real with you. I'm sitting there going, look at the net lick on this thing. It started at 35,000. Well, it started at 25, then 10,000 extra was put into it. Now it's at 36,701. Hell, this up over $100 since I put it in this morning. So now the stupid thing, you're gonna have to talk me off the ledge this morning. It's gonna be one of them days, since we're talking psychology, trading psychology. So let's just open the account up and see what this thing's doing. Look at this, y'all. So it was at 36.7. Now it's at 36.813. We're up $112 since the last time I've done it. Look at this. There's another trade field. Look, so it's got this. Look at this. We just put the Ford trade on yesterday, for God's sakes. Ken, look at this. It's up 120 today. We're up $260 on that. On a 654-day option. And I'm just sitting here, I'm scratching my head, and I'm like, I know we put in ultra stuff, right? I started buying dogs of the Dow. I'm doing things that I never thought I'd do. I bought Walgreens for the love. I'm down $3.84 in Walgreens. So we got all this stuff that's just going crazy. And I know the market's up, but look at the QQQs. It's $356 up on that trade that we just started last week. So I look at the year-to-date P&L for a week up $1,800. And then you start going, wait a minute. Now tell me y'all don't do the same thing, okay? Tell me you're not doing the same thing going, wait a minute. Are you telling me that's as easy as it is get you some ultras and dogs of the Dow and put you a leap or two in there, and you start doing this and you're up $1,800 and you're not even watching the Greeks. You got one stinking leap on in this thing, right? With positive, your whole count's positive deltas. Your Vegas are positive, right? You got a -3 theta, which, is totally being overcome by the profit and all this stuff. And then you've built a supercomputer that tells you what to do. Is this it? You're not sitting there going, is this it? You just run the supercomputer and you just let this thing go, and that's all you got to do. So I don't know whether I'm excited or I don't know whether I'm upset. I really don't know. So you'll see that I took O. Remember, we took about half of our cash and put it in O. So what I then did is said, okay, I will exclude O from my stock value. So you don't see the 4,000 in stock that I put into O, the real estate investment trust, in this. And you also don't see that amount showing up in cash. So this is cash without that. This is stock value without that. So now this entire portfolio, remember we kind of kicked it out at an 80-20, except for, what was it, Ford, that we did a little different. So, overall, the stock is 76% of the portfolio and cash is at 24%, which is pretty strong. And really, I sit there last night and go, my gosh, is this thing going to go up every day? I mean, is this ever going to have a down day? Is it ever going to crash and burn? Have we created the perpetual ATM machine that we need to call it Patty. We'll call it Patty for short. I know Ken loves us taking inanimate objects and giving them personification, right? So is this the perpetual ATM machine? Is this what we created? I don't know. But it really is kind of cool to watch this thing work. And I cannot imagine. Remember, we got kicked out of our Zoom meeting yesterday. So when I came back, I never hit the record button, so we weren't able to record it. Rick, you missed it yesterday. You missed our very first, and I know you was in a work meeting, but you missed our very first trigger on this thing, which actually showed that this thing was working. So we built a supercomputer. I know it ain't a supercomputer, but let's think for a second. That tells us the ideal time to buy and the ideal time to sell. And that's it. So maybe we just, give everybody a copy of this. We shut down our trading room because we don't need it anymore, right? Because all we're going to do is sit here and go, okay, take action, nothing. So you go milk the cows and you go do whatever else you want to do, right? So I don't know. But it's just really, I don't know, it's really, really working out well. Now, it's been a week, y'all. It's been a week. But I am really impressed over how this is done. But keep in mind, it hadn't done anything, really, has it? Because we just put the money into it, and we've only got one trigger. Now, we're getting close on some others. There's my number 203, best darn truth you ever say. So we're getting close on some other triggers. But, man, this thing is it's pretty phenomenal. Is this what it feels like to buy stock? Is this what it feels like to be a stock trader? I don't know. But it's an unusual feeling for me because I'm not an accumulator of shares in any shape, form, or fashion. And I put all these on the same day. Now, arguably, most of these were put on a day that was a down day. So I did pretty good overall putting all those in. But, so right now it's got, other than the cash here, it's got, $8,000 in the account that's just sitting there ready to buy up and scoop up other stuff. So we really could make our decisions based on this cash amount, right? If you've got too much in cash, well, allocate it to either a new stock, a new LEAP, a new ETF, a new ultra pro share of whatever. You could do that. So you can just watch this cash thing here, and if cash gets to, 34%, 40%, whatever, and then we could, say, hey, we need to buy some stuff. So you could watch cash. There's all different kind of things, but we think we've got it programmed here, and we're just testing this thing. But how cool would it be if we have built a perpetual ATM machine? Not saying that we have. It's been a week, y'all. But dang if this thing ain't doing good. And then, you start feeling bad because you go, wait a minute. This smaller account is kicking my bigger account's butt, right? You go, man, this thing is just dominating. And I get it. It's because it's long stock, right? And since we started this, the market has done nothing but go up. But it just is really, really interesting to see how that entire thing has gone up, especially when you see that, well, this account is up 4.86%, in what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Right? You're at 5 days. And I just changed it instead of doing the 25,000 here and the 10,000 infusion here. I just did it all at the beginning, right? So, you make $33 the first day and you go, dang, that's good. Then the second day you go, hey, we made $304. That's good. And then you made then you're up $749 because you made $445 that day. Then yesterday the account's up $500 and you go, I'll be danged if this ain't something. And then today, it's up $451 and you go, crap, man. Crap. It's up 1,700 and it's up more than that since I put it in. It's like it won't stop. Like it won't stop. Oh, man. And it really had been tested yet. Yeah.
So I noticed on the spreadsheet you have 3 AIM tabs. Are those kind of like standalone, or they're not linked to your action tab or your weekly premium tab or your net lick tab? They're kind of like standalone. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's standalone. So Rick, let's make sure we know what we're doing here. Okay. So, somebody came up to me and said, hey, Bob, manage an account for me. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. And I fought it for six months. Right. And then finally I'm like, okay, let's go. And I said, because I'll run the AIM in it because I thought AIM is going to be really, really safe. Right. So, old boy puts 35,000 in this account and, he's probably thinking at this point, that I'm the greatest trader known to man, right? Because, he's up 5% in 4 days. So yeah, this is totally a whole different account. It's a whole different, ball game. I'm running the AIM in it. I don't think I'm going to run anything else in it, but he basically said, look, do whatever you want to do it. Just run it. Go. See what you can do. And I said, hey, this will be a great time to put the AIM into practice. And you're exactly right. So it's got 3 different things. So I keep up with that netlick separately from the netlick of my other account. And then I've got the AIM dashboard that, gives us the signals on whether to buy or sell. And then you got AIM activity where I actually go in and put in the individual trades. So other than me opening, 14 trades here, we've only got 1 trigger and we took it yesterday, Rick, and it told us to sell 1. So Beth's like, how much money did y'all make on that one? Well, I'm like, we sold it for $101. So we brought $101 in and we bought it at what was the stock price when we bought it? TQQQ, where's that? $86. We made $15 yesterday. Meanwhile, the net lick just goes crazy on this one. So, I sit there and I guess I'm sharing this with y'all because it's good to talk emotions when you're trading, right? So if you see something that's kicking out, it's up $1,800 in 3 days or 4 days, then you go, gosh, man, maybe I should abandon every other thing in the world that I'm doing. But then I think, no, wait a minute. The rest of what we're doing is built on really good strategy, right? It's built on really good strategy. The problem is we do see the ebbs and flows in our net lick, don't we? Even though we're on a good pace, right? Other than this does not take into account the unrealized losses that we have in the account right now, right? So this is just closed book stuff. I mean, we're looking good. We're at 18%, premium capture. We expect that to be 25. We've got, our projected profits for the year. We're on track to do 36%. Our weekly profits we've made 134 here. Look at our last few weeks, man. We've just been kicking it out of the park, right? With our closed trades. But then, the thing that gets you down is, well, wait a minute, this doesn't take into account anything we've lost on the VIX hedge, right? So we've lost, $300-400 probably by putting our hedge on. This also doesn't take into account $1,400 that the worst trader in the world, Bobby, was, putting on some micro futures to try to hedge, because I always pick those wrong. So I lost $1,440 doing that. And it also doesn't take into account your unrealized losses right now. Well, where are those unrealized losses coming from? So we've got unrealized losses that are affecting our net lick, so that our strategies at this point, don't look as strong as what's going on in the AIM account. So let's go here and look. So where are our P&Ls opens? Where are our losses? Man, look, I mean, we got $6,300 in losses here, right? Yay, we're up $57 today. So we're losing 2,000 on the Qs. We're losing 1,300 on XSP. Diamonds, we're down 1,200, down 1,000 on Disney. We're even down on our micros. We're down on Apple. We're down on VIX. Down on IWM. We're just down. Hell, we don't making anything but in the SPX. Hey, we're making $1,100 in the SPX. It's been our greatest thing. The only problem with the SPX is that it's taking up an inordinate amount of buying power, right? And what you're not seeing, because I've got everything hid here, is my options buying power right now is only like $3,000. So while this says that I'm using 28, remember all these diagonal trades we've got on are taking up our cash and sweep vehicle amount. So I've only got $3,000 in this account if I need to make adjustments or changes. So with that being said, I've been thinking to myself, well, what do you do, Bob, to, you're taking your micros, maybe that's not too much, right? In a $52,000 account, 51, whatever it is. That's probably not too much, but is this too much? Maybe. And see, Rick, I didn't even put on the Rick trade yesterday because I go, if I put on the Rick trade, that's going to bring the buying power up to 20,000, and I only have $1,000 in my options buying power. So, you start thinking, well, what do you do? So one thing that I thought is this, well, I still believe, even though these have huge losses, let's look at it, right? Because this is, I think what we're talking about today involves every one of y'all. This is the way we look at stuff, to see how you feeling, how you feel about what we're doing. Here's the amazing thing though, y'all. I mean, look, here's our equities tab. We're already at 70 and 80% on all of these puppies, except for the one. What is that? Let's see. So we look like we're doing good, right? So Apple. So our short options are doing exactly what we want them to do. We're able to take these, make profits on it weekly. So, if today was Friday, we're going to make $500 there. We're going to make $700 there, minus 250. So what is that? 450. Then we're going to make another 250. So what's that? 700. So we're going to make 850 bucks. If we were to close it right now, we're going to make $850. Now let's look at our basis tab, because this is really where the long-term option comes in, right? So check this out on the Qs. Now, I got to double check everything to make sure everything's right, because it said we're down. Oh, I see what it says. It says that we're down on the Qs on the open trades. But what it doesn't realize is that you and I have booked $1,100. Look at this on our closed Q short trades, right? And according to this puppy, if we close this entire Q trade right now, based on what we've had realized profits, our open profits here, our open on the long, then we'll make $1,500. So what about these others? Even though we're down $6,000 on our open trades, it doesn't take into effect that, hey, look at this amount that we've booked. We have booked these profits here, right? We booked all this stuff. So then as I lay in bed at night, I'm thinking maybe the most significant discovery that you and I have made is that the AIM combined with the leaps is the most significant thing that we could possibly do, right? So you start thinking, man, what a great strategy this is, where you do a longer term option and you sell something shorter against it in order to bring that basis down. And this is working really good because y'all, I'm telling you, we are killing it. I mean, just killing it weekly. Look at what we're doing weekly here. And if we isolate this from the basis, the spreadsheet even goes on and shows us what we're expected to do over here. Let's see what our anticipated profits are on this. I mean, it says clearly we're on pace to do $14,000 just on these short-term options, right? Which is good. Really, really, really good. So you go, hey, I'm a pivoter, baby. I am a pivoter. I'm not well, I've always been a chaser of shiny objects, right? I always like when you get the new shiny, fishing lure that you go, man, this thing is going to get the bass. It's shiny, it's pretty, it's got sparkles on it. How could a bass not bite this lure? And then you go out and you buy the best lure and you go out there, the fish don't bite it. And then you start thinking, hey, wait a minute. I remember that the best luck that I've ever had bass fishing came from a chartreuse worm. Just an old chartreuse colored worm, y'all. Throw it out there, let it hit the bottom, chuck it a couple times, till it comes up, and boom, there's your bass. It doesn't make the neat noise like a hula popper. It doesn't make the cool little ripples on the top of the water like a jitterbug. But I think I've only ever caught one bass on a hula popper. I don't think I've maybe caught a brim on a jitterbug, but just the old chartreuse worm, just an old brown looking nasty, looks like vomit worm you throw into the water, that catches more bass than all the neat shiny things that make the noises and all the splatters and the pops on the water. And you start going, this is good. I think what we're doing here is solid. Well, then if we go over to our macros, you go, now wait a minute. The macros are, how is this not good, right? I guess what the only problem is I'm trying to show you is that in our account, we are showing unrealized losses, but the gains that we're taking on closed trades are doing, superb. Now, we've got some big ones that we got to figure some stuff out here, right? We've got some big things that look like they're popping against us. But overall, this strategy has been very strong. So then that brings me to the credit spreads. So I'm hoping that I'm going through a logical process that y'all go through, right? Because I think every trader goes through this. As you go, is what I'm doing not good enough? Is what I'm doing, could it be better? Could it be improved? And sometimes we go to the extreme of paralysis of analysis, and we've heard about so much, right? So you just over analyze stuff rather than just going in and doing what's normal. So on our spreads, these are doing well. But here's what I think that I've come up with. If I were to abandon something, if I were to say, what is it, Bobby, that you need to cut down on? I think it's probably the Cameron Skinner trade. And I'll tell you why. How many trading days are there in a month? So overall, you got what, 22 days to trade. So there's 4 weeks in a month, but there's actually 4.3 weeks in a month. So you've got let's see if I can pull this over here. So you've got 22 days to trade. All right, how much buying power am I allocating to this particular strategy? Well, if I do a 10-point wide spread on the Cameron Skinner trade, so that's costing me $1,000 for each trade, minus the credit received. So I've got a $22,000 that I'm allocating to this trade. So we closed our first one yesterday and booked a whopping $30, right, on that first trade. So I mean, I still think it's a good trade. I like it, but maybe in this particular account where it's, just north of $50,000, maybe putting $22,000 of your buying power toward that strategy is too much. Especially when you go, I've only got $3,000 left in buying power. So the thought process is, okay, we could eliminate the Cameron Skinner trade, or we could just back off on it. So rather than doing it, 5 times a week, maybe you do it twice a week. Maybe you do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So 2 times 4 is 8. So you're maybe doing it 9 to 10 times a year. So you're using $10,000 buying power rather than the $22,000 buying power. So I think if there's anything that I'm learning is this: in order to allocate to other things and to increase what's doing best, you have to make these decisions. But keep in mind that in the back of my mind, when I see the AIM doing so well, I mean, it's a short time period, right? I mean, that might be the easiest thing to do. Say, we found the eternal ATM, the holy grail of trading. Well, I don't think we have, because it's been, 5 or 6 trading days, right? So the thing may be up significantly, but it's not because I've done anything other than buy securities. I bought a 2-year lead, huh? So yeah, it's doing great, but it's not because the system has told me anything. This is only, we had our first sale yesterday where it told us to do something, and we did it. But that's not why that's doing good. The reason that the AIM is doing good so far is because we bought securities, most that are correlated with the market, and all assets are increasing, right? Everything is up, 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 and it has been significantly over the last couple of days. So that's what I've got to keep in mind. Hey, Bob, is now the time that you just abandon everything, that we close the trading room, that we just use these 3 tabs, we forget the Greeks, we forget everything? No, I don't think it is. But I do think I need to do something to where I say I'm not putting as much buying power on the line for the Kirk Cameron trade. And then I thought too, I got to think about you guys as well, right? So most people here are trading accounts that are smaller. You're probably not able to put on the, if I'm having trouble with buying power in a $52,000, $51,000 account, you're probably having trouble doing the Cameron Skinner trade on a daily basis too, right? And then I thought, well, the SPX has been the greatest friend of mine. Let's see. On here, I've got it. It shows me this. I think this one shows me what's been good to me as far as profit and loss on the year. All right, here it is. So the micros have been very good to me. The micros for the year has been up $1,447. That's our profits year to date on that. Apple, even though Apple's sucking this week, we're up profitable 466 on Apple for the year. DraftKings has been great. We're up 363. But the greatest of everything that we've invested in, that we've traded, has been SPX. We are up $2,000 year to date on SPX. So then you take 1454 that were up in the micros. And let's just look at our current buying power. 1454 on the micros. That's what our profit is on there. And we're using what, $9,800 of buying power. So what's your return on capital there? The micros return on capital is 14.83%. All right. So let's take, we're up 2,000 in the SPX, but our buying power necessary to keep these trades on, well, right now we're using $18,000 of buying power. So instead of 14%, it's 11%. So these are the decisions I think that we all have to go through. Say, am I allocating a little bit too much buying power to the Cameron Skinner trade? And keep in mind the propensity that all traders have about chasing the new and the shiny. So even though I'm very intrigued by the new and shiny AIM, I am not to a point that I go, let's abandon everything that we're doing and just put the whole crapping thing into AIM. Right? So I'm not at that point. Now, we may run this a year or two and find out that this is God's gift to, to trading, and we'll form a secret society with handshakes, and, you can't get in the building unless you wear, a certain kind of headband or something, who knows? But we are certainly not at that point right yet, even though I do sit in bed and go, my God, how's this thing doing so good? Well, it hadn't done anything. All I've done is buy assets. It's given us one flipping signal to sell one flipping share of the TQQQ. So, yeah, it may be the greatest thing, but you got to keep our head. So we've got to keep our, envy, I guess, trade envy at bay. Trade envy is like, wow, man, look at this. This is working great. And here I am with a $6,000 unrealized loss on my open positions. Geez, what am I doing? So I'm not ready to abandon our key strategies at all. But I do think that it's worthy of a look at the buying power that I'm using toward the Kirk Cameron Skinner trade. So maybe, you do that trade once a week. Maybe you do it twice a week, 3 times a week, but certainly 5 times a week in a $50,000 account, if you're doing a 10-point wide spread, is a little bit too much buying power for me. And we know that the spreadsheet tells us that, right? So let's go in and let's do what we do each and every day. Before we move on, though, okay, Dimitri's joined us now, and Dwayne's with us, Rick, Ken, Tom's with us. Any questions, any comments? I'm trying to let y'all inside my brain, because I have a feeling that when you're trading, that you have these same thoughts, you have these same emotions, right? Let's abandon everything and let's jump into the new and shiny.
I think you're very wise to reassess. I mean, I think you always have to be in the process of reassessing where the finances go and who's doing the best, what's doing the best. And chasing new and shiny is great, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't, and you just abandon. So, I mean, I think you're doing good as far as trying to reassess. I think that's very smart as far as, yeah, AIM is very impressive, but that's because you have two large up days in a row. I'm going to want to see what AIM does on the down days, whenever we hit some sort of small correction. I think that'll put reality. Anyway, I think it'll put it in proper perspective. Let me put it that way, because what you're seeing, what you're trading now, as far as your micros, the calls, I mean, the fact that they're negative, that puts it in reality. Well, you haven't seen that in AIM yet. It'll come. And make a long story short, AIM may turn out to be God's gift to traders, and that would be marvelous. But I think you're smart and wise in saying that it really hasn't proved it yet, until we see all market conditions.
Yeah, very good comment, Rick. I think the great thing that I'm liking about AIM, though, is when we do hit, the down days, it's a time where you kind of get excited, because you know that this thing is going to tell us to start buying shares, right? And that's kind of cool. So it's going to tell us, hey, shares are on sale. It's kind of like, I never knew how Groupon was going to make money. Yeah, is Groupon still a stock? I always said, man, this is a stock that's going to crash and burn, right? But Groupon was, I get a daily thing from Groupon about the latest, greatest thing that I can get for cheap or whatever. And I remember whenever we go on vacation, I was always like, hey, y'all, look for the Groupons of the restaurants in Destination City, and let's just use them while we're there, save a bunch while we're eating. We still do that. But, after a while, you're like, geez, man, I mean, what a losing business model Groupon is. I can't imagine that they're going to be around, forever, or if they are, that they're not going to be some, humongously profitable company, right? Because you're basically, begging companies to come to you to offer deals to people that they could offer by themselves anyway. Are they going to be repeat customers? No, probably not. So you're always going to have to find new customers. What a horrendous business model. So I say that to go, what is this is like when stocks go down, when these entities that we now own, including one leap here in Ford, when these start to go down, then it's going to be kind of cool because it will be like getting an email or a text alert on your phone saying, "Hey, y'all, TQQQ just went on sale. Hey, we're having a yard sale, and you can come get this. We got this bargain." And it's going to alert us to, do something pretty cool, is to buy shares at a cheaper price. And, right, I mean, we've even got a throttle on this thing that, hey, if it does it a couple of days in a row or 2 or 3 times in a row, we're going to start not buying as much because we don't want to run out of cash. So the concept of this is very strong. The concept, I see the brilliance in this. I think you and I, all of us together, have made this a little more brilliant by taking out the X or Y, because this would be the X axis of time, right? Saying, let's look at it once a month. I think we may have improved telling us when to act. We may be wrong. Maybe it would, running this once a month rather than running it on a constant basis. But certainly, I'm not, as you said, Rick, I'm not ready to abandon everything that we're doing and to totally do this. Totally right. All right, so let's go into our net leg. Even though I do have a little bit of net lick envy going on with our AIM program. Let's put it in for the day. For 6/21, April the 6th, y'all. Unbelievable. I'm supposed to have a colonoscopy on the 16th, but I can't do it, thank God, because one of my kids has a doctor's appointment in Atlanta, and Beth says, "You're gonna have to cancel that," so I'll have to cancel it. So let's see what the net lick is for the day. Go back to my Thinkorswim. We are at 51.02879. So we're up a little bit from yesterday. 51.024.55 now. So it's going down a little bit. So we're up a bit, up $171.79 from yesterday. All right, so let's go and let's look at our Greeks. I gotta say though, it would be cool if AIM was to a point that it did say, "Hey man, forget all your Greeks, forget everything." I just don't think that it is at this point. So that's why we test. Because there's a scientist in me, y'all, that just wants to, that loves testing this stuff. Oh, I will say this, Tom, since you've joined our group, if you'll go to our resources tab within Discord, there's a thing that's really good. It's an audio about chasing shiny things. So y'all, if you hadn't listened to that or read the transcript of it, I think it's got a transcript of it too. That tells the story about Simon and his quest to find the holy grail of trades, right? And he's searching all these things. And as soon as the brand new, fishing lure comes out, man, he's chasing, chase. But eventually you get tired of chasing. You get tired of chasing stuff. So you got to trust, things that have worked well for you in the past. You are always skeptical of anything new that comes, into view, and treat it with that skeptical eye. We don't know what AIM is going to do. We have no idea. The principles sound sane, sound wonderful to me, but we are certainly testing it out. So deltas, look at this, y'all. Have my deltas ever been so negative compared to my theta? That is amazing. So say -228. Let's put that in. So we're even more negative today than we were yesterday. What does that mean? That means that the market has gone up, right? Market has increased. So we've taken some profits out of theta. in our net lick. So we expect that to be down a little bit, 168.51. 168.51. Vega, you and I are the anomaly in the trading world of selling premium. Most sellers of premium will have negative Vega. We somehow, because a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and then, have positive Vega. I don't want to get into the concept that maybe that's phantom Vega. I don't think I've heard anyone ever refer to it as phantom Vega. That's what I refer to it. Some people say, well, the Vega of longer dated options is not, I don't want to get into that theoretical discussion right now. I just say that it's better to be positive than negative on there. Buying power used. This is where we're in trouble, right? This is why I'm saying we've got to do something. I can't have this continually being over 50%. It's not prudent. I've got to, I'm a rebel at heart, right? But at some point, I've got to say, I got to take that down. And I did. You'll see I took it down. How did I take it down? Well, my RIC trade expired worthless yesterday, and I didn't put one on. So, that took it down a couple $1,000s, right? So 28,791. So I'm beginning the process of getting that back in line. 28,791. By the way, speaking of which, so now we're at 56.43. So you can either follow the guidelines up here that are based on VIX, right, to set your buying power, or you can go and say, I don't want to worry about VIX. I don't want it to tell me, if I'll be at 35 or whatever. Then you can easily go, man, I just don't want to go over 50. And I think that's where any of us need to be as far as our not being too heavily invested in everything that we're doing. 50 is a great, because you always want a bank of cash, y'all, to, to move, to adjust, to take care of some of these trades. So let's go to our credit spreads trade. This is where I told you after our careful evaluation, after me sitting at night, and I don't know if y'all are like me, y'all probably have hobbies outside of this, right? It's like the story that I recount in my dissertation that I cannot find proof of, but I heard it somewhere. So I don't know that this worked, but apparently Albert Einstein was at a dinner party at some university, and there was a co-ed there, and they were introduced to each other. And the young lady asked Einstein, hey, what do you do for a living? And he said, young lady, I am engaged in the study of physics. Thought that sounded good. Engaged in the study of physics. So the young lady flippantly replies to Einstein, oh, really? She said, I took that last semester. Like, he's engaged in the study of physics. And she took it last semester, and she thought, hey, man, in her world, she had already conquered it, right? She had conquered physics because she got her B, C, A, whatever she got in class. She's finished. I'm done. Whereas you had a human being that was brilliant who was engaged in the study of physics. Now, I am certainly not brilliant, but I am engaged in the study of markets. I'm engaged in the study of statistics and mathematics and logic. And this is what I do, other than occasionally playing with my livestock, right? But this is what I do. And I got a feeling y'all probably like me. This is what you do. So let's just look and see. We had, I don't think I took my trade off yesterday, and I'm hoping I got it on here. Let's see, where's the one? Let's see, day TE, days left in trade. Where was my, or did I even put a RIC trade on Friday? Maybe I didn't have anything that expired. Let's see, days left in trade. That's where I need to be. Here we go. Yes, I did. Look at this, -1. Thank God for a spreadsheet, right? So this one from yesterday expired fully profitable. Let's just go check it. That was the 39.40, 39.20. Good. So let's fix that up and make sure we get credit for that. So take that out, the option name, take the option name out here. And then we'll go and we'll make our 40 bucks or whatever we get on this trade. So current day price is 0 because it expired. And that should be 0, but I got a feeling it's going to say 55 because it's still putting the commission in there. I need to fix that. This spreadsheet never ends. All right, so there we go. So we made $37.92 on our RIC trade. So let's go close it out. So that closed out yesterday. Booked a profit. Booked the profit. Book the profit. That's like, you know, scheduling a concert with Jesus. We're going to book the profit. All right. So let's see how we're doing as far as our projections on our credit spread. So we're projected to 5,800, which is lower than just about anything. Isn't it interesting, though, that it's the SPX spreads that have generated our most profit? So let's make that green. And let's see if we got credit for it, because I always doubt my spreadsheet. I probably shouldn't. But let's go see if we got credit for that $37. What were we, 100? Yeah, we did. So now we're up at $172 for the week, right? Our premium selling, it says we need to sell $523 today, but keep in mind, we're not now worried about this daily amount so much, because with the campaigns that we have in those equity trades, we get more than enough of premium selling. See this? Look at this. We're always over 100%. Right? So even though we're at 13%, nobody panic. We know we're going to get that at payday on Friday. All right, so we took off that trade. So I'm not putting on a Cameron Skinner trade today. I'm still going to let my buying power kind of adjust naturally. We'll take off a Cameron Skinner trade tomorrow. So we're making prudent decisions, y'all. We're taking a little risk off the table, not putting as much on for the moment. So all's looking good. So we're looking good in our there. Let's go and look at the fabulous job and the big payday that you and I are going to have in our short-term options on Friday. Keep it green, baby, right? Because we're just reducing basis on those longer-term options. We don't have commodity trades, which is another thing I wish I could get into. And maybe if I scale back on the Cameron Skinner trades to once or twice a week rather than 5 times a week, we'll be doing well. So now it's time to go over here and to let us, oh, by the way, I don't think I ever looked at our Greeks to see what it said as far as delta adjustment. So we know we're good on theta percentage, and it's probably going to tell me, hey, Bob, you're way too short, right? Yep. So it's even worse than yesterday, right? Get you some positive deltas. And that's the key too. You know, you got to weigh buying power with positive, you know, because if I put on a Cameron Skinner trade today, it helps me in my delta. So you know, as even though we're trying to take the art out of this, we can't eliminate it entirely, right? You've got to make decisions, you know, which is more important. And I think at this point, it's more important to get my risk down, to get that buying power at least under 50%. All right, so let's go. Our equities look great. We're going to have a great payday on Friday if nothing changes. Go to our micros, do our job in micros. Oh my gosh, look at this, y'all. We've got 2 competing things that need to close. Which one do you close? You close the one with the fewer days left in the trade, right? So we need to close the 35.50 with 45 days left. All right. So let's go to our thing and let's close her, the 35.50. And this is what I always like doing. It's closing these little puppies here. 35.50. And the ES should be right on top, almost. There she is. So let's take it out. Create closing order. 35.50. The mid and that's $11. I won't try to nickel and dime them today. Let's just book our profit. And that should take us out at 11. I say a shit. There it is. Yep, we're out at 11. Oh boy, how exciting a time for Rick. Rick, I can't get it out of my mind, man, that you're just going to be a retired guy in a couple months in September. How you're going to be living the life, using spreadsheets, making trades, thinking about this stuff all the time. It's just going to be cool. Cool stuff. I'm excited for you. So we booked our 73.31. Let's go. And I think it's this line here. I need to make this thing smaller, so I need to delete a lot of this crap. There we are. Yep. So we got out of it on 4/6/21. And we'll book that as 50% profit. Look at there, y'all. We were only in that trade for 8 days. And we are done. So let's call it a 50% winner. I hope y'all like the psychology discussions too. I mean, it's one thing for us to go in and just blindly do the science of what we do, right? But I think it's another thing to talk about those human emotions when you're lying in bed going, the world as I know it is not as I know it, and I must abandon everything because the shiny, new thing is the new kid at school, right? It's like when Ginger Bond came to Ranburn High School. She was a year younger than me, but we shared some classes together. Everybody loved Ginger. Man, everybody loved Ginger. Ginger was the new thing. I mean, she had her little clique of people, and I was like, how can somebody come into a school and be so popular and only be here for a summer? I'm like, how in the name does that happen? I'm like, but over time, Ginger kind of, she faded into obscurity with the rest of, everybody. And she just became a regular old student. But everybody was infatuated with Ginger when she first came. Amazing how that happens. So Ginger's a wonderful person now. She is involved. She's engaged in the study of tulips. She helps to grow tulips and takes them down by the riverside and does all kind of things with them. So our macros are negative 128 deltas. We are way too short. So we're going to go into our little thing. We're going to say, so what are we going to do? Our spreadsheet will recommend what, a 10 delta. Let's see what our spreadsheet tells us we should sell today. It says we should sell a recommended delta of 10, but we need positive deltas. So I normally never like going closer than 30. I'm still comfortable with 30. And so what I'm going to do is, we've been selling 20s. This market still goes up. So let's go to the 52-day. Why don't we do a 30 delta? Single. Rome wasn't built in a day. I don't have to get my aircraft carrier lined up in the Tallapoosa River in one day. If you never know where the Tallapoosa River is, it ain't far from here. So let's go to the 30% probability. Hey, Tom, are you in, I don't know if you can speak or not. Are you in Canada? I just think that's cool.
No, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio. Awesome.
Close to Canada. I mean, I can swim across the lake.
Well, it's kind of weird. I saw something on your profile. I wasn't stalking you. I don't think I was stalking you or anything, but I was like,
I do consulting for a company in Canada.
That's what I saw.
Yeah.
Look at there, y'all. Why does Thinkorswim do that? Thinkorswim will give me the wrong expiration. So what's going on in Cleveland now? Anything? Baseball's about to get started.
Baseball's back. Sun is out finally. We're above the 60-degree mark. All is good.
You remember the Cleveland Braves World Series?
Yep.
Didn't that happen at some point? I think I remember that.
It did.
Hold on a minute. Let me grab this from y'all. 3650. And the cool thing about the Indians and the Braves is we both have mascots that everybody's trying to make us change, right? So we can't do the
Yeah,
tomahawk.
the Indians have already said they're changing it, but
Really? Well, we can't do the tomahawk chop anymore. You know, it's just.
Says you, Tom. Yeah, I do it.
Well, oh, you still do the tomahawk chop? Yeah, you know, it's just, it's
It's,
I don't
it's
know.
going
But
to
we're
take a
gonna do
while to
little
get me
bit.
to stop.
I won't get you started. I won't get you started. Did I even sell in the right expiration? Where am I at? 36.50. What did I sell, y'all? I'm thinking that Thinkorswim just totally went crazy on me and I got in the wrong expiration. Let's see. I just sold the 39.65. What is wrong with me? 39.65. Well, Tom, we're hoping this summer that we're all going to get together somewhere, you know, and we're going to just sit around and just, you know, powwow. Gosh, I think it didn't even, I think it kicked me out of my expiration, y'all. Look at that. I think it put me in the 31 days, and that's really going to make me mad if that's what I actually sold. Let's see, 31 days, 36.95. I bet that's exactly what it made me do. Of course, I'll take responsibility. It's owner error. So let's go do that. But we thought it'd be great to like go watch a Braves game, you know, sit around.
count me in.
All right, I mean, it just sounds like fun to me, you know.
It's the benefits of working remotely and trading.
Yeah, and you know,
You can
that's
work from anywhere. You can work from the beach.
Anywhere. Yeah, and that's what I like about trading, right? You know, I used to do real estate. You know, I'm a real estate broker, and we only did that because I wanted to save on commissions. We do rental houses and blah blah blah. But man, you know, time you get sued by a couple of tenants, which I got sued by one because they wanted their deposit back. Fortunately, I won on that. But man, they call you all kind of names. I mean, oh, the days of dealing with that are just over. So I cannot believe I sold that in the 31 days, y'all. That's just. I guess I could unload it, but we won't. We need positive deltas. We'll take it even if it's shorter. So let's go one here. 36.95. There we go. Short put. Have any of y'all done real estate? Where it's amazing how many traders get into trading, you know, coming from real estate. I just lost all interest in it, to be honest with you. I got to the point that I just had my feel of it.
Takes me too much time to research properties.
Oh my gosh, we would go to foreclosure sales, camp out all day. You know, we had one attorney that hated to see us coming because his client wanted to take all the properties back. His client was a real estate investor, and we would hide in the bushes. I hide in the bushes, and he'd come out and he'd look, see if anyone's around. And when he started crying to foreclosure, you know, we'd ambush him and try to bid on the property. That guy, oh, he is gone to glory now. That was the most unscrupulous attorney I had ever dealt with in my life in the real estate game. But contractors and trying to get people to do work, and oh, this is so much more fun. I can do it in my underwear, sitting in my house. And that's exactly where I am now, in my underwear with a green shirt on that probably hadn't seen an iron in years and years and years. All right, so we're in that one. Let's see if we got credit for everything we've done now. Did it give us some little bit of credit for, yeah, so we're at 449 as far as premium selling. Now that took us down to 342. All right, I think we are good. Let's see what our deltas are now. Let's see what our deltas are now. 213. So we're chipping at it. Problem is with the runaway market, man, if it goes up more tonight, then we'll be more negative tomorrow, and we'll keep having to chase this thing up. But that's exactly what we're doing. Let's just see how bad all of our calls look at the moment. And I apologize, y'all. I told y'all I was going to put the amended spreadsheet up yesterday on the website, and I did not, and I will do that today. That has the AIM built in it. Tom, you wasn't with us yesterday, but we fixed AIM to where it actually will now let you do a leap. into it.
Yeah,
It's
good, cool.
kind of good. The only problem is I was talking about the leaps in this thing is I figured out it's easier to do stock because, you know, in a 50 something, well, this was a $35,000 account, right? You got to find a stock that is, you know, $10 or so to be able to buy the recommended number of contracts, which, you know, the author said was 10. And I understand why they say that, because you want some numbers to whittle around with, right? You want to be able to sell 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, rather than just having, you know, so if you bought 5, it doesn't give you much flexibility, but man, are they expensive, right? So 10 on Ford, which was a $12 stock, you know, still cost, you know, $2,500 in this account. And then, Tom, what we did yesterday as well is, you know, we parked our cash into O, which is a real estate investment trust that I like a lot that pays a monthly dividend. So we purchased 67 shares there. We'll get some dividends. That shouldn't have too much movement in the stock. We hope not, because we've got our cash there that we're willing to chill. I mean, if I need cash in this account, you know, and we've got plenty of cash if I have to make a buy or something, but we're parking about half of our available cash. We got cash of 8,800. We've got half of that parked into O, so we'll get a dividend, you know, and if O goes up, we get some growth, even though Ken and I are a little nervous on commercial real estate and the future of commercial.
Did you put on, I tuned in a few minutes late, but I'm going to go, did you put on a put spread today yet or not yet?
Did I do a put spread? That was one of the big things that we were talking about, Tom. Let me just show you what I sat in bed, you know, knocking my head over last night. My SPX spreads that I've got on are taking up $18,000 worth of buying power, right? So significantly more than anything else that I have. Now, here's the issue too, Tom, that you don't see, but I'm gonna, you know, y'all tell me to do this because people are gonna break into my account or whatever, but I'm gonna undo the privacy. Here's what is the issue, is that I've only got buying power here of $3,176. So by doing 20 of these a month before these come off, that's taking up, I think, too much buying power that doesn't give me enough, you know. Now, if you're in an account that's higher than this $50,000 account, that's not going to be a problem, right? But in our current situation, that's a little too much. So here's what I'm going to do. And I didn't put on a Rick trade yesterday, and it kills me I didn't put on my Rick trade because I love the Rick trade. So what I'm going to do is on the Cameron Skinner trade, and I would love to hear your thoughts or anyone's thoughts on this. I think I'm going to pare that down to maybe instead of 5 times a week, I may do that trade once or twice a week, you know, just calm it down a little bit. I'm not going to get the number of occurrences that I like on that, but I kind of like paring that down a little bit. Then I'll able to continue the Rick trade every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So that's the plan, is to cut that down a little bit. And another thing in SPX that's working so well that I want to keep available. So if we par down on the everyday spread, then that allows me to do maybe keep my butterflies going as well, because those things are just doing gangbusters. And here's the bad part, Tom, that we talked about is, you know, you're having to make a decision. This trade, I've made more profits in SPX than any other thing that we're trading, including the micros. So it's hard for me to walk away from some of that, but I think it's the prudent thing to do, because in this size account, I've just got too much buying power allocated to it. So I'm going to start tearing that down a bit.
Yeah, I agree. I might go to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because I'm doing a 0 DTE replacement on using these.
Yeah.
So I might do the same, because I'm going to have the same issue. By the time I get up to 20 of these, it's going to chew up probably $40,000 in BP.
Yeah, and I like what you just said too. You know, you're doing it kind of as a synthetic 0 DTE, and that's exactly what we've been doing on these, even on the Rick trades, right? The Rick trade is a synthetic 0 DTE. So we put it on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Those have an expiration, and we've been letting those go to expiration. But isn't it amazing, by doing it synthetically the way we're doing it, I I don't know why, but I don't have the angst or the anxiety that I normally have with that zero DTE trade where I've got to sit here like this and go, oh my God, I got to watch it all day. So it's pretty
Yep.
cool. So that's the plan on the SPX. I still want to do that trade, but I'm with you. Let's do it 2 or 3 times a week rather than every day. And I think I'm going to increase the number of currencies of the butterfly trade, because the butterfly trade is the broken wing butterfly is just beautiful. I mean, it only takes $1,000 worth of buying power. And as Ken said, Ken, correct me if I'm wrong, you're sitting there going, man, hey, Bobby, I'm doing $500 worth of buying power on it and doing great. So I think I'd rather do what about if we look at the plan like this? What if we did the Cameron Skinner trade 3 times a week? We do the broken wing butterfly twice a week, and we do the broken wing butterfly instead of $1,000 worth of risk, we swap that down to $500 worth of risk, because instead of bringing in $1.50, you're still going to bring in $90 to $100. Isn't that pretty much it, Ken? What you're bringing in, about $100?
Yeah, it's 80 cents to a buck, and that's pretty good. In fact, I do the Rick trade, and I'm more and more, instead of putting on a simple vertical spread, I'm putting on broken wing butterflies. And it seems to be working out, and it's really stable. I mean, it's safer. I have not lost when I've done that, and the only time I've lost on a SPY credit spread is when I was an idiot and decided to sell some call spreads. And
Yeah, I hate calls. God, do I hate them. Yeah, I kind of like what you're saying. So, so instead of doing the Rick trade, you're doing the broken wing butterfly as the Rick trade. You're doing
affirmative. That's a simple way to put it.
Beautiful. I mean, I like the idea of that. And hey, every now and then you're going to hit the 10, right? Every now.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that occurrence. Right. Yeah. I hit the sweet spot.
Yeah, every now and then you're going to hit it. So, it's kind of cool. So I like that. So I think what we've done today, this may be the best session that we've had together, because, hey guys, Katie's almost finished. They're out of school this week. So we are, we're talking about the psychology of, these times where you get frustrated and you think about giving it all up and doing this, and it's been a great discussion. So let's go back and with my trade envy, and let's see how this thing's doing now. Let's see. So now we're only up 1740 for the year. So let's go back down. Not that I want it to, but I don't want to have trade envy of the AIM. So let's see what Ken said to everybody, and then we'll cut everybody loose. So Ken, you've incorporated AIM into your wife's IRA. Inception date of 4/1. Mechanics are simple. Does for me remove the emotion. It does do that, and I have implemented it into my thrift savings plan, which is my 401k. Mechanics does remove from me the emotions. Got 5 stocks, ETFs now. Add more when good opportunities appear. This for me is looking for good stocks near to the 52-week lows, which is what was recommended in one of the books. TLT was the one that got your interest in your IRA. You're more and more just selling put verticals, broken wing butterflies, and one new strategy outlined below. I'm moving more and more to just trading the SPX and RUT indices, happier and less stressed, except for the short calls. God, trust me, I know about the calls. I hate them. So you're looking at riding iron condors 100 plus days out on SPX, looking to put the short leg of each side at the expected move, then buy the wings at least 2 strikes away. Exit at 33 to 50% profit. Do it again. Every time I lose money, I can trace the gamble Vega risk. What was that, Ken?
I was just saying that you may have to adjust those iron condors to to balance out the get it to 0 DTE as close as you can.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter which way the market goes, you're going to be okay. And when I do the Rick trade, the most dangerous thing, and I saw that with the calls, is Gamma and Vega. I get ripped up. When those things go wrong, I get ripped up there.
Yeah, and especially with Gamma on such a short-term trade, right? That's when it jumps up and pops us a little bit. Mm-hmm. Hey, look at there, y'all. We're popping up for the day. So that's a good way to end the session for today. Anyone got any questions or anything? And never think
Yeah,
that
I
I'm
do.
the, yeah.
Well, this is a technical question. I downloaded your latest spreadsheet this morning, and
Mhm.
it did have the leaps inside the aim section. Well, what I did was to conserve resources. I stripped off the 3 aim spreadsheets, and and it seems to work. I didn't hurt anything. But one of the things that got me when I put in my wife's uh, portfolio that I made for her, on to TLT and on the A what was it, AGQ, it had me buying more leaps, and it really doesn't merit it. It's just there's something seems to be wrong there, and also it doesn't seem to adjust the portfolio value. It just seems like it's balancing the cash back to the initial value. I may have done something wrong, or I might have damaged it when I when I got rid of the other pages. I
Mhm.
may shoot you, if you don't mind. I'll shoot you the spreadsheet and you can see what I screwed the boots or
Yeah,
not.
yeah, do that.
Uh,
Because I tried to make it, to where, like you said, that these 3 pages are, as Rick asked earlier, it's not connected to anything else, right? So you should be able to do that. But what we need to do is maybe I could run some of your numbers into my spreadsheet and just see if it, I don't know. We'll figure out something though, Ken, before we can get that
well,
set up.
yeah, and the reason for that is I don't need a whole spreadsheet for my wife's. The only thing I'm going to do on my wife's IRA that would be useful from a spreadsheet would be just the aim. Um, because I'm happy with what I have, and she doesn't. She's told me the limits of risk. You know, she has no interest in futures and stuff, all that. So I'm keeping it simple. And the funny thing is I got her account up 15, 16% on the year already,
There you
and
go.
and I need to trade my account like I trade hers.
Right. Right. Well, that's what I was saying about, this account, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, this account, this $35,000 account is killing my $50,000 account. It's kind of, it's crazy, but I'm only in this one for 4 days. And that's why I was sitting in bed last night going, knocking my head against the rock going, Bobby, you suck, you suck, you suck, you suck, and maybe AIM is the greatest thing since sliced bread. So who knows? We're going to all try it out, but
Yeah. My
I'm
mantra is,
glad. Here's what I'm glad that I can do. I'm glad that I can come on here with y'all and just tell you what my thought process is, right? While you're laying in bed and you're thinking, rather than just going, oh man, I got the confidence to do it all. That's a bunch of crap. We deal with the emotions of trading, and it's kind of cool just to, and I'm sure we've all had trade envy. If you see someone else killing it out of the park, and you want to, do that instantly. So that's another thing. Fear, greed, and envy. Trade. We'll call it trade envy. All right, good session, y'all. Thanks for everybody being here, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Okay.